Kia Sorento is new just a few years ago, but for 2014, it's being completely re-engineered with pretty extensive changes under the skin. Will these changes bring it up to date? And will it bring it up to par with the best-selling 7-seat crossovers in the market? Hi, I'm Joel Fetter, and we'll look to answer these questions and more in our latest video road test featuring the 2014 Kia Sorento. Now, under the hood of the Sorento, you'll find one of two engines. The base engine is still a 4-cylinder engine featuring direct injection. Now, that's good for 191 horsepower and 181 pound-feet of torque. For a 3,600-pound vehicle, that's a little lean. The near mandatory engine is the new 3.3-liter V6 engine, rated at 290 horsepower and 252 pound-feet of torque. This V6 engine isn't just more powerful, it's actually more practical, especially when you load the Sorento down with a few people and some gear. Now, it's also nearly as fuel efficient as the 4-cylinder. The most fuel-efficient Sorento is the 4-cylinder front-wheel drive model, with a 20 mile-per-gallon city rating and a 26 mile-per-gallon highway rating. Opting for the V6, those numbers will drop to 1825. All Sorentos have 6-speed automatic transmissions, and while front-wheel drive is standard, all-wheel drive is available with both engines in all trim levels. It's an on-demand system that can send torque from the front to the back wheels, and there's a locking differential for when the weather gets nasty. The base price of the Sorento has risen about $4,000 since 2011, but that doesn't mean it's still not a good value. A base Sorento LX will start from about $24,000. It includes 17-inch alloy wheels, USB port, power options, and Bluetooth. A rear-view camera and Kia's UVO infotainment system are available. It's worth noting this iteration of the UVO system dropped its Microsoft underpinnings and now uses a simpler smartphone-driven setup. Stepping up to the 30,000 EX model adds a V6 engine and a 7-inch LCD screen in the gauge cluster, which doubles as a secondary navigation screen. Stepping up to the $35,000 SX model, such as our tester, and you get 19-inch wheels, a massive panoramic sunroof, navigation, and an Infinity audio system. A fully loaded SXL model is nearly $40,000 and includes Nappa leather seats, a wood-trimmed heated steering wheel, and heated rear seats. Now, moving to the second row, you'll find the space just as habitable as the front. In fact, there's plenty of knee and leg room, and the rear seats slide forward and aft for extra room. Now, this is a bench seat. They do fold 60/40 for carrying larger items, but you cannot option for captain's chairs such as the Hyundai Santa Fe. But the rear seats do recline for great nap potential. Moving on to the optional third row seat, we're going to call this the kid zone. There's not a lot of room back here, and by EPA standards, this is a 3-row crossover due to interior volume. But if you compare it against a Honda Pilot or Toyota Highlander, there's not a lot of room. Also, when you have this seat in use, there's only 10 cubic feet behind it. Not a lot of space. Just so you remember, kid zone. Kia says the Sorento is 80% new, but it doesn't look all that much different than before. It's only a fraction of an inch longer and wider, and the overall shape stayed the same except for the LED taillights and a good-looking grille. In the past, we've knocked the Sorento's ride due to being too stiff and jittery. That's all changed as Kia has completely retuned the suspension, giving the Sorento a much more comfortable ride. The Sorento's handling is also improved thanks to a stiffer body structure. There's optional 3-mode steering that changes the weight but doesn't have any better feedback. We just set it in normal and forget it. Visibility is good from the driver's seat, and the rear headrests pretty much line up with the rear pillars, which helps preserve the view to the rear end. Safety scores aren't in yet, but the Sorento's performed well in the past. It has side curtain airbags, but we should point out they don't cover the third row seat. New on the options list is a blind spot monitoring system. So what's the bottom line with the 2014 Kia Sorento? The midlife lift has brightened up the cabin, softened the ride, and fixed most of our issues with the previous generation. For all the latest automotive news, be sure you're following us on Twitter, at Facebook, and on YouTube. I'm Joel Fetter, and this is our video road test of the 2014 Kia Sorento.